Thank you all for joining us today to our Userguest webinars. Today we'll cover hotel website metrics. So for those of you that are at the moment much more available with the current situation, everybody's struggling. It's very difficult times for the whole industry. So from Userguest, we decided to help the industry give as much as possible and launch a series of webinars to help our friends in the industry improve their technical skills or their marketing skills. The idea is to provide as much value as possible, help you make the most out of this time. I'm assuming most of you have a bit more time than usually. So it would be a great way to use it to improve those skills, get to know more about very technical aspects of the industry. And hopefully when things get better, you'll be a better hoteliers with a much more tech savvy and more marketing savvy, let's say. So the webinar series, the whole program would cover different topics. So today we'll start with website metrics. The following 2 weeks, we'll do more digital marketing things. So covering Google Ads, display, remarketing, and Facebook ads. And the week after that would be mostly about availability, rate parity, distribution, actions that you can take to improve the overall performance. And we'll finish with the website best practices, which kind of will summarize everything that we've learned throughout the 4 previous episodes and really put a light on what's very useful, the most insightful, and the best practices in that specific case. So I'll introduce first the team, your speakers and panelists for today. So we have Savina, our account director at Userguest, previously at Booking.com, at Expedia. And
hi, everyone.
Hey, Savina. And also we'll have Asil as a panelist, taking questions, making sure that he replies to get to the questions and make sure that the questions that we get are relevant with our slides. And then myself, I'll be starting first part of the webinar. For those of you who don't know me, it's Isham, co-founder of Userguest, managing director of Swell Hotel Marketing, and previously at Expedia as well. So let's start.
Hello, everybody.
I think for those of you who don't know us, it would be a good kind of reminder. So we are Userguest. We're a smart notification tool for hotel websites. We help hotels improve their website performance by showing smart notification, personalized messages to improve the website performance and push more people from your website to the booking engine, increasing the number of bookings that your website can generate. This is run by an algorithm that was designed by the team, which makes the right decision at the right time, meaning showing your users, your website visitors, the right message at the right time. So in a nutshell, this is what we do at Userguest. So you can ask questions at a later stage about Userguest, but let's start with the webinar and the content. Today we'll cover mostly website metrics, what's important, what really helps you make the right decisions. So we'll go over traffic and visitors, click rate, conversion rates, website insights, and how to diagnose your website. And we'll finish with a Q&A session. So about the Q&A session, feel free to ask questions at any time. If those questions are relevant with the content, we'll take those questions live. And if not, we'll park those questions and answer them at a later stage. During the Q&A session, we'll leave at least 10 minutes to cover all the questions that you guys might have. All right, so let's start with the first topic, which is website metrics. So there's different website sources or traffic sources. So your visitors come specifically from different type of platforms. Most commonly, people would come from Google. They would search for your hotel name and come from directly type your name, and they see the link, they'll click on it and make it to the website. Or they could come from other sources, could be Google Ads, Facebook, or a price comparison website like TripAdvisor. So there's a different type of websites that they could come from, but we kind of just highlighted the best known, the most known, and kind of the most important ones. So what happens then? Those visitors, they come from these platforms, they make it on your website, and also they could make it directly on your booking engine. So we'll talk about that a bit later. But this is kind of the visitor flow. First, they make it to the website. Once they land on the website, a couple of things can happen. The visitor can just leave, they can stay a bit on your website, or they can make it to the next step. The next step would be making it to the booking engine. In this case, these specific visitors actually start the booking process. So they have, in a way, a higher willingness to purchase, to make a booking. So they would make it actually to the booking engine. For others, other visitors, maybe they're just seeking for some information and they're not willing to start the booking process. Or maybe the website was not good enough. Something stopped them from making it to the next stage. So that's let's say the first two steps. The last step would be the booking engine. So your visitors going from just being simple visitors to lookers to actually bookers. So these are the people that actually confirm the booking and become eventually will become guests. So here what's important, what we wanted to highlight is the metrics that would really help you make the right decisions. These are the top three that would cover throughout the webinar, and to give you a good sense of things that are important, what you need to pay attention to as a hotelier to better understand your website performance. So first we'll have visitors, then the click rate, meaning how many people move from your hotel website to the booking engine, and the last part, the conversion rate, will be actually the number of people that convert, that become convert from visitors, from lookers into bookers. So let's start first with our website.
Well, before moving to the next slide, we actually already have a question from Trishna. Hey, Trishna. So the question is, what should we do to generate more traffic on our website?
Okay, that's a good question. Thank you, Asil. There's so many things that can be done to get people to your website. So in the slide, we'll cover a bit in detail, but it's what we would call marketing initiatives. So let's go with the slides where we would go a bit more in detail and explain all the things that a hotel marketing expert or hotelier could do to increase the visitors on their website. So the way we split it is separate the marketing initiatives from the traffic sources. So there's so many different initiatives that you can take as a hotelier. Some are offline, some are online. So we start off with the online ones. So the quickest initiatives that you can take is, apart from just being listed in different websites, will be doing AdWords or Facebook ads or any type of ads that actually brings people to your website. That falls under SEM, so search engine marketing. We'll cover that part in the next webinar. We'll go really in detail on the different traffic sources and how you can generate traffic. Then you would have Google ranking. So what's your ranking on Google? That's organic traffic. So when people look for your hotel or a hotel similar to yours, where do you rank on Google? So that's what we call organic traffic, and that falls under SEO. Then you have your offline reputation, how good you do with your PR, whether you're on magazines, whether the sales effort that your team is doing, reaching out to agents. So just overall, everything that doesn't happen online, that's offline, what's your reputation? That would actually brings traffic to your website. So when people get interested in your own hotel, they've seen you on a magazine or something, the first action they would take is actually going to your website or look for you on the OTAs and book you directly. Another source, one of the biggest sources of traffic would be OTA listings. The better you rank on OTA, the higher your value, your ranking in terms of the grade that a Booking gives you, Expedia gives you, and the others, that actually has a lot of impact on your traffic. So if you have good reviews, people value your hotel, your establishment, actually your ranking will be pretty good. And that tends to generate traffic on the website. And very similar approach would be your ranking on the meta search engines. In this case, we're talking about TripAdvisor, Kayak, Trivago, and the others. And similar to your OTA listing is how well you rank, how well your reviews are, or how value it's perceived from a previous guest. That dictates a bit the amount of traffic that actually makes it to the website. Then that traffic translates into the traffic sources. Then people can come from all these sources. There's way more, but we just summarize the most important ones and eventually make it to the website. So the idea here, what's important to remember is everything comes from the initiatives. If there's no initiatives, regardless of the traffic sources, you won't get much traffic to your website. So you really start from where do your visitors come from is from your own initiatives, from your own marketing, how you put in your hotel out there. That what dictates how many people make it to your website.
Okay,
so,
we have a question on this slide actually, if I may interrupt you, Hisham. It's is the conversion rate higher on SEM or SEO? So which channel is more efficient actually?
This is a classic question that you get in digital marketing. So you guys have worked at agency side as well. We all come from the agency world. This is the most classic question that digital marketing agencies would get. What's the highest conversion rate? Is it SEO, SEM? Where should I put my money? So there's no really straight up answer. One is better than the other. It really depends on so many variables. If you, from an SEM perspective, brand keywords, let's say, would have exactly the same conversion rate as your SEO initiative. If somebody is looking for hotel XYZ, whether they click on your AdWords link or they would click on your organic link, the conversion rate would be exactly the same. So it really depends on your positioning, keywords that you're looking for, that people are looking for to get to you. So it really depends on a lot of things. But we'll cover this in the next webinar. We'll really go in detail in what's SEM, the different the best practices, how you to find your positioning, and so on. So hope that answers a bit the question. In a way.
It does. Yeah. Thank you, Sham.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to the next part of the booking process, as we mentioned, is the click rate. Right. This is what determines your website ability to convince your visitors to start the purchase. Is once people on your website, they land on the website, is your website good enough to convince them to move it to the next stage? So here we give you the formula actually to calculate that figure, that metric, which gives you a lot of information actually. So click rate is your booking engine visitors, so the number of visitors that make it to the next step, divided by your total website visitors. So in this example, we have 1,000 divided by 5,000, which gives you 20% click rate. So 20% of your visitors, of your hotel website visitors, actually make it to the next step. You might think that that's not much, but this is why we're actually doing this webinar, to put a light on issues like this one. This is a very important metric for you to understand that actually my website is not performing well enough. Only a fifth of my visitors actually make it to the booking engine. That's why I don't get enough bookings. That's why the performance of my overall website is not that good. So this is a way to identify what's the issues and how you can rectify it. So which leads us to the next step, the next metric, which is the conversion rate. In this case, we talk about two different conversion rates, not to be confused. So we start first with the overall conversion rate. That's your whole website ability to transform your visitors, your lookers into bookers. In this case, we're talking about the whole step. So your website as a whole, which includes the booking engine. So just how many visitors your website gets, and out of those visitors, how many booking that your website is able to generate. So we give you the straight up formula, which is conversion rate, total bookings divided by total website visitors. In this case, we get 50 divided by 5,000, keeping the same example, gives you 1% conversion rate, which is pretty good. Actually, in the industry, 1% is an extremely good benchmark. To give you a sense of that metric, the bigger chains, let's say in IG, would have a conversion rate of around 2%. Expedia US, which has the highest conversion rate out of all Expedia websites, would have a conversion rate of 5%, knowing that they have unlimited options. So the more options you get, the more obviously conversion rate, the better your conversion rate will be, the more bookings you generate. So just to give you an idea of how the benchmark of the industry. So for an independent website, 1% is very good conversion rate. So this leads us to the other conversion rate that we can talk about, which is your booking engine conversion rate. This tells you how good is your booking engine. So this is really the metric to judge your booking engine, that in most cases it's run by a third party. So it's not part of your website, you haven't built it yourself, but you're using a third party as a booking engine. So in this case, the way to calculate it would be, again, your total number of bookings divided by your booking engine visitors. So only people that have actually made it to the booking engine, not your total website visitors, but are the ones that are only taking the next step. In this case, you're looking at 50 bookings divided by 1,000 visitors, which gives you 5% booking engine conversion rate. 5%, again, to give you a bit of benchmark, this is an extremely good booking engine conversion rate. So this is top of line booking engines. We won't mention names, but as you know, through Userguest, we work with 25, 30 different booking engines, and we know the differences. We see differences between one of them, and this is how we judge the performance of the different booking engines and compare one versus the other.
Excuse me, Hisham, we have another question. You started to answer it actually. It's from Gede from Bali. So the question is, what is a good booking engine conversion rate, like on average?
Okay, very good question. Thank you, Gede. So we'll get in the next slides, we'll get into it more in detail, but we say in general that 3% starts being conversion rate. Could be better, but if it's way less than that, that's the highest priority. But around 3 to 4, you're already doing pretty good. 5 is very good conversion rate overall, if that answers your question. But I think next step, Savina will cover more those metrics, get a bit into details, and share with you a few case studies as well.
Perfect.
So Savina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Hisham. Yes, so in the next section, we're trying to provide you with a benchmark and with numbers that would help you identify problems on your website. So these numbers will help you understand where are the issues. Are they with your digital marketing efforts, your website, or your booking engine? So here we can have a look at the numbers. I want to mention that these are numbers based on individual boutique hotels. They're very different for large chains and groups, but these are numbers that are very typical for the smaller properties, boutique properties. So we're going to start with the first one, which is the website traffic. So this will give you an indication whether your digital marketing efforts are enough. So if you're getting about 5,000 visitors a month to your website, this is considered a very good metric. So you're doing a good job with bringing traffic to your website. An average would be between 2,500 to 3,500. It's not great, but you're still generating enough traffic to your website to actually make sure that you're also generating enough conversions and bookings. Obviously, if you have less than that, and especially if you have less than 1,000 visitors per month, this is considered an issue, and you have to have a look at the marketing efforts and focus on bringing new people to the website. The next section is what is the CTR, the conversion rate. So how many, actually, yes, the CTR, how many of the website visitors click and go to the booking engine. So here, about 40% would be a good metric for the industry. So if 40% of the people go on your website and go to the booking engine, then you're doing a great job with displaying your the right offers on the website, and also the user experience is good and you don't have issues with that. About 20 to 30% is average. You're doing an okay job. But if only 10% are making it to the booking engine, then you definitely have an issue with the website. So this means that you either have many distracting big pop-ups that don't allow the users to go to the next stage, or your booking button is not highlighted well enough on the header menu or on the website, or you're simply not displaying any offers that are attractive to your customers. Images are also something to look at. Maybe you're not displaying an image that is actually making the users to want to find out more and go to the next stage. The next metric is my booking engine converting enough visitors? So this is the booking engine conversion rate. Above 4%, as Isha mentioned in the previous section, is considered really good for the industry. An average would be between 2 and 3%. And 1.5 or less is considered really bad. So there are several things that you could be doing to improve this. But we'll cover some of this in the next section.
Sabina, we have a small question. Maybe we need to clarify something concerning the visitors. Are they daily or monthly? Yeah, maybe we are.
Yes, that's a good question. So here, all of these numbers are based on monthly averages. So 5,000 or more visitors per month, and same with the conversion rates.
Okay.
So moving on to the next section, we're going to have a look at a few case studies and a few examples, which will hopefully help you also apply them to your individual cases. So in this scenario, we see a website with 1,200 visitors, a click rate of 25%, and booking conversion rate of 4%. So it's very clear here that the issue is that the traffic is actually not enough. We see that the click rate is really good, also the booking conversion rate is really good, but the issue is the low website traffic. So what can you do in this case? Obviously, you need to invest more budget in marketing efforts. So you need to bring more traffic to your website through your digital marketing, PR initiatives, and any other marketing initiatives that you have. We're going to have a look at scenario 2. Here we have a website visitors of about 5,000, which we mentioned is really good. We have a click rate of 38% and a booking conversion rate of 1.5%. In this case, it's very clear that the booking engine conversion rate is below average for the industry. So you are bringing great traffic to your website. People are going to the next step. They're going to the booking engine, but something doesn't allow them to convert. So in this case, there are a few things that you can do. One of which is maybe have a look at other vendors that would have a better user experience. Or maybe you're displaying too many offers. Another thing would be the flow that the users are experiencing. So, for example, you're displaying add-ons before the booking has been completed. So you're making it more difficult for them to complete the reservation. Moving on to the next scenario, here we have a case where we have 4,500 visitors, a click rate of 12%, and a booking conversion rate of 4%. In this case, we see good traffic, good booking engine conversion rate, but the click-through rate is not good enough. It's a low click rate. So the recommendation here is that you need to display better offers on the website and just in general improve the user experience on the homepage or the landing pages of your website. So these are some of the scenarios that we covered. Are there any questions?
Not for now, not on this slide. So we can move to the next section.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Sabina. Thank you for covering the scenarios. So
Thanks, guys.
we'll summarize a bit what we said throughout the presentation, throughout the webinar. So the main important part about metrics, why is that so important? This is how you make your decisions. So these need to be based on metrics, based on data. So all three metrics that we covered throughout the webinar also depend on different variables. So you need to understand that every single metric that's very important also depends on other things. So we mentioned first the traffic. It really depends on your marketing initiatives, or you're able to create demand. It's a variable as well of your online reputation. If you're ranking #1 on TripAdvisor because you're the best hotel in a specific destination, you will generate a lot of traffic to your website. So everything is actually linked. Everything that you do online, whether it's through your different initiatives, through PR, everything is actually linked. So make sure that your communication is flawless. You always treat the guests the best possible way, because this can affect your online reputation, which will then affect your traffic and how many people actually make it to your website. So that does have a direct impact on the performance of the website as a whole. Second, we talked about click rate. So click rate is really a variable of your user experience. When people make it to the website, is it a good, pleasant website to be on? When we share this metric a lot in our sales pitch on Userguest, is a study based on the top reasons why people book on OTAs, and same study on why do people book on hotel websites. This includes chains and independent website. And the #1 reason is the conveniency, how easy it is to book. So whether it's on OTAs or direct websites, this is what customers, visitors value the most, how easy it is to book. So how easy it is actually has a name, it's user experience. Is that experience pleasant? Is it easy? Is it straightforward? Do I have to overthink to actually make that booking? So this is a very important metric and way to look at your website. Part of the experience, it's also your website design. How do you place things? Is it eye-pleasing? Does it reflect your hotel positioning? If you're a very luxurious hotel, does it fit with the luxury? If you have an outdated hotel website and you're selling rooms for $1,000 USD a night, just to give an example, that would not match. When people make it to the website, they would think, I'm not willing to pay that much for a hotel that has such a bad website. That can impact your overall credibility as a brand and as a hotel. And the visuals. You need to convince users to come to your hotel. So you should see your website, the visuals as the way to convince them to track them inside the shop. The shop would be the booking engine, but you need to have attractive visuals or showcase the most important part of your hotel. If you have an amazing infinity pool that's beachfront, that should obviously be your first picture. The users, the visitors don't want to see the rooms at that stage. They want to see your unique selling point as a hotel. So that's what you need to showcase first. And that's how you increase your click rate. Focus on user experience, your design, and the visuals as a way to kind of convince the users to make it to the next step. And then the last part, from a booking engine perspective, that's so many things that can influence that. So Sabina touched on it previously. The booking engine performance could be just the flow of the booking engine, how the rooms are displayed. If you have too many room categories, and for each room category we would have 5-6 different offers, that becomes a very bad user experience. It becomes confusing for the user. There's too much choice, then makes it hard for you to say quickly, okay, this is what I need. Last minute offer works perfectly for me for this room category. But if you have that offer that matches with what you're looking for, that's kind of lost between 30-40 different type of offers, makes it very hard for you as a user to make a decision. Then there's other factors like availability, pricing, and offers. They can also have a huge impact on your booking engine performance. So really understanding these three metrics and what influence these metrics can help you make the right decisions. So this is what was the goal of the webinar is for us to highlight those metrics, highlight the fact that exist. There's a lot of there's 100 different type of metrics in the industry if you look at Google Analytics or other platforms, but the ones that would give you a summary of the right information and very straightforward actions that you would need to take, or these three metrics that we spoke about throughout the whole webinar. All right. We'll take first the questions, and please feel free to ask. For those of you who are not familiar with Zoom, you can either raise your hand, we'll give you the floor, or just use the chat to ask you questions. So
yeah, we actually already have a couple. So
okay,
from Lestari in Bali, asking how can we increase the traffic on the booking engine?
I'll take this one if you don't mind. So the best way to increase the traffic from the website to the booking engine is to make your website look at it from an e-commerce perspective. You need to use the right tools. You need to use the right incentives. So we always give an example about Amazon is the best website in the world in terms of selling. They're better than anybody at selling. They're not the best visuals. They don't have the best pictures, but at selling, they are the best. Why is that? Because they're using the right tools. They're using some urgency messages to kind of a bit trick the user to make it to the next stage. They're using the right offers, personalized offers for you to make it to the next step, to make it to the booking engine. They use also the best user experience. It's very easy to find where to click. They make it all the steps as extremely straightforward as they can. Everything's very easy. So this is the way to look at it. Is my website very easy to use from a user perspective? Can they find the book now button? Am I showing them offers that would convince them to make it to the next stage? Am I using notifications with more personalized messages or showing a bit of urgency for the user to make it to the next step, if not for simply the fear of missing out on a good offer or on an availability and not be able to book the room? So there's a lot of things that can be done. And this is something that we provide at Userguest. That's why we focused a lot on the user experience, on how we can show the right messages, simply just how we can make users go to the next stage. How can they start the booking engine process as much as possible? So increase that number as much as we can. Hope that answers the question.
Cool, thank you, Isham. Next one is, yeah, you mentioned a lot of several metrics like the CTR, the conversion rate, the traffic. Which one would you consider is the most important?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it depends. It depends exactly on your situation. So they're all equally as important, but you have to look at it from your own perspective. So this is exactly what Savina was discussing in the few slides a few slides ago. Sorry, that you have to look at where is the red, where are you doing bad. That's your main priority. So you might have decent amount of traffic. You might do average on the number of number of visitors, coming to your website, and your click rate could be average, but your booking engine performance is bad. So that's your priority. Could be the opposite. So we showed the different scenarios where this is where you should put the effort, the main area of improvement, where you should put all your focus. So it really depends on the cases, but all things being equal, those three metrics are as important as one another. If one is not doing good, your overall performance will not be good anyways. If you don't have enough traffic, you can have the best conversion rate, the best click rate, but your performance will be poor. You can have the best amount of traffic, but if your click rate is very low, then your performance overall will be poor. So all things are extremely important.
Okay, great. So we have a last one. so it's James. Hello, James from UK, asking if we're gonna share the recording of the webinar. So yes, actually, definitely we're sharing this, so you can check it on our YouTube channel, or we're gonna send you the link also by email, or you can check also our LinkedIn page. You can find all this webinar and the next ones as well.
All right.
Okay, I think we if we don't have any more questions, we can move on.
So just quickly, one thing we would like to add before we finish is we've shared a lot of information throughout the webinar today. We would like to extend an offer to you guys in these difficult times. Feel free to book a session with one of our specialists, and we'll do this kind of audit, look at the different scenarios with you, case by case, having a look at your own website metrics, and give you the right recommendations based on the metrics that you have, based on your current situation. So we know things are a bit difficult for everybody, and this is kind of our way to giving back to the community, to the industry, is given our time, our way of looking at things. So hopefully when things get better, you'll be better equipped to make the right decisions, following the framework that we actually use with our clients, that we've been using for quite a few years now to improve hotel website performances. So that's all. So if you feel like reading a bit more, improving your skills, you can always get our book. It's available on Amazon on Kindle format and as well as paper, where we share a bit more details on digital marketing, how to approach your website, and it's always a good read. Very straightforward, no BS approach, just exactly steps that need to be taken, and without any pretension. So that's all. Thank you all for your time. It's been great to share all this information with you. And again, feel free to reach out to the team, book your session. If you have any questions after the webinar, again, book a session or just send us an email. And mostly, do not miss the next web episodes of the webinar. So we have 4 more episodes coming. We'll share different topics, and feel free to join those as well.
Thank you, everybody.
Right.
See you next
week.
week.
Everybody.
Thursday.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.